thing and picked up one of these Losi 112 Nascar ready to runs. Seems to be a hell of a buzz, not only in the hobby shop but on the internet about them. I know they're getting kind of hard to find. I was lucky enough to find this over at a hobby shop in Cary, and so this is the one I picked. Now there's nothing has been changed as far as driveline goes. It is completely stock with stock motors, stock ESC, everything running on stock radio. And that is what we are trying to do as a club over here at the hobby shop that I hang out in. A lot of people are saying that this car is slow. Okay, it is not going to come out of the box and be, super impressive. I get that. But there are certain things that you can do to make it a really competitive car. And I'm going to touch base on a couple of those things. Now, mind you, everything that I'm going to tell you is straight opinion from my experiences racing dirt oval for many, many years. Now, I know this is an asphalt car. A lot of guys are running these on carpet, and I've seen a couple actually run them on dirt. We are not doing that. We're running them specifically on asphalt and parking lots, and not so much doing an oval, but doing more of a roval style. So you do have some rights and lefts in there with it. So there's a couple of things that you need to look for if you do go out and purchase one of these cars. I'll go over, and this is stuff that I have been told by a couple of friends and things that you may want to just check into. It's not saying that's what's going to be happening with your car, but just to let you know. And then I'm going to get into something else that makes it a real game changer. So let's get it. First and foremost, I got to say, Losi knocked it out of the park with this car. The attention to detail as far as the bodies go is phenomenal. Molded bumper on the front end. It's got a nice little diffuser on the rear end. Really, really nice platform. Bodies seem to be pretty solid. They come pre-painted out of the box, obviously, and there are clear bodies that are that should be showing up at hobby shops before too long. So if you want to change it and make it your own, that's an option. But I'm going to show you another option as far as that goes as well. This is the body off, all stock electronics. Got a micro servo here, the Spectrum ESC here. Motor gets a little warm if you run it for an extended period of time. Now, we ran the other night with new batteries. Battery comes in as a 1400 milliamp 2S LiPo. I think it's a 30C burst rate on it, and the car does really good with it. And yeah, it's a little slow. It's a little slow, but when you put 4 or 5 of these cars together on an actual track that you've got delineated out there that you have to follow, these cars don't get slow. They're not slow anymore. It comes down to actual driver. It comes down to the driver. There's a lot of races that we run the other night were lost in the corners, not so much on the straightaways. So you really have to drive this car. It's under $79 out of the box. Tires on it are medium compound. You can see that I've run them pretty hard. I hope it picks it up there, but you can see the outside where the newer rubber is on the outside, and it's worn pretty evenly all the way around. I did treat my tires. I have my own stuff that I use to treat them since it is a medium compound. I really like to see some softer compound tires. From what I understand, they're supposed to be coming out pretty soon as well. Shaft driven, really not a lot that I would change as far as this goes. I would like to see a little more adjustment in the front end. Now, I did get on the Losi website and ordered the adjustable arms for the front end for this car, and they should be here hopefully the next couple of days. It's been almost a week now, and I know Losi was pretty slow, but as soon as they get here, I'm going to wind up installing those so I can really dial in the front end on this car. Oil-filled shocks. Now, I was talking to a buddy of mine who said that he took his shocks apart and they were maybe half full of oil, so he added oil to them, put them back together, put them on the car, and it actually helped out to handle them. The differential on the front end seems to be just a little bit loose, so I'm going to work with that. Not today, but I've got a plan for that to kind of tighten it up, but still allow it to do what it needs to do in order to slip and not be locked up so bad. But it does. My car itself had a bad tendency to push whenever you went into a right-hand corner. And I mean push pretty bad, but some test, some tuning on this thing, I think we're going to have a nice, really competitive, really raceable platform. Now, as far as everybody's saying this car is slow, if you put it out on a great big track, of course, this car is going to be slow. What we did was actually shorten up the run distance and made a smaller track. When you do that and you put a handful of these cars on a track together, it is a hell of a lot faster, and the racing becomes a lot more competitive, and it actually comes down to being the driver's skill itself and not so much what the power is inside of that car. We had a great time the other night running these things. The racing was really fun, really tight at times. Now, you do have, we had situations where guys broke out and would wad it up in a corner or lose it in a corner or whatever, and that changes everything dramatically right then. But there are so many things to take into consideration whenever you take one of these out of the box, and the first thing you say is it's slow. Well, did you buy it to bash? Did you buy it to race? Now, this one was bought to race. I'm not worried about the motor. I think it's got plenty of motor in it. It's just the track size is going to determine how fast this car needs to be. Back to the body. Now, I'm not knocking these bodies at all. These bodies are great. They look great. The detail on them is amazing. But there's only a handful, 8 or 10 different paint schemes that are out there. So you never know when you go to a track or go to a get-together who's going to be there. Now, the other night when we were running, I picked up the Horizon livery on mine, and it just so happens that my buddy Daniel has the very same car. Now, we did our level best to keep up with whose car is whose, but at some point you're going to have one of those moments where you get a little confused, and you're going to actually be watching your buddy's car, and it's not responding the way you are doing the inputs on your radio. So it would be really cool to have more options out there. I know the clear bodies are coming. These clear bodies are this next gen car, and I'm not a fan of these next gen cars for all kinds of reasons. But let me show you how you can change this and take it to whatever level you want. If you're a diehard old school NASCAR fan, I've got something for you right here. You want that old school NASCAR look? Look no further than McAllister Racing. Now, they have, I'd say, 4, 5, 6, 12th scale specific bodies out here that you can make work on that car. Now, what I did is I picked up the Monte Carlo. This would be something, after the Lumina platform went away, this Monte Carlo came into play. So I'm not going to say a specific year, but it was there for many, many years, and a lot of teams ran this body. Now, the only thing that I did, if you'll notice, the body's clear. Now, this body did come covered with a white film, but it made it impossible to sit on the chassis and actually find where my body posts need to be. This has only been cut to test and fit. So as you can see, it fits this chassis perfectly. I do have to modify the wheel wells. The wheel wells on this one are just a little bit narrow, but that's not a big deal. It's easy fix. And the bodies, whenever you do get it, like mine back here, does not have a wheel arch pressed into it, so you're gonna have to cut that yourself. But you talk about just about a perfect fit. Perfect fit. Now, I haven't cut holes or anything for it, but this thing is going to fit it, and it's going to completely change the appearance of the car. I wish I could find different wheels, like the old stock Bassett's or Arrows, but that I'm not going to complain about that. But even on the back end, it's a little wide on the back side, but it's not terribly wide. But the car's going to work out great. Fits it perfectly. I don't have to lose my diffuser, and I think I can actually get it to work with the front bumper. And it may not follow it perfectly, but I'll still be able to utilize that front bumper and not tear the body. So, but this is just and another thing is that whenever you do order one of these, there is a molded, I don't know if you can see it or not, probably won't be able to see it, but there is a spoiler back there. I hope you can see the cut lines that will fit it just about perfect back here. Whenever you do get it cut, now I've got to do some trimming, obviously, but fits the car perfectly. Whatever, all I got to do now is just mark holes, cut it. It does come with window mask. The only thing I didn't get was any kind of decals for say a window net or anything like that. But I've got the ability to make my own decals, so that's what I'm going to probably do. And then I'll just pick up a sheet of the contingency decals to put on the fenders and then shoot it. And my colors are going to be, I don't know which way I'm going to go with it. There it is, my old orange, black, and white. Just got to figure out what kind of scheme I'm going to do. But there it is, man. It's a great little car. Radio is just bare bones, does great. But for everything out of the box, to have a competitive car and be able to get out there with your buddies and have a hell of a good time like we did the other night, this is the way to go. So if you've been on the fence about picking one of these up, simply because any of the reasons that I've just spoke about, don't worry, pull the trigger, buy yourself one, and start massaging the thing. That's all you got to do is just work with it. It's a race car, so you can tune it and you can make it competitive right out of the box. Hope you guys found this to be informative. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the next video. Take care.